P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. That's the message that keeps coming through. And it came through with so much heaviness, like a high, then a low. Sort of like someone was having a good day, distracting themselves, doing things, getting shit done. And then they came back to where they stay at night, a home, an apartment, a hotel. And it was empty and quiet. And all those thoughts that they were running away from came flooding back in. P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way is a line from the movie Finding Nemo. And Dory is this little fish that has short-term memory loss issues, so she can never remember anything. And she's kind of like this personification of a sunshine character, somebody who's just like magnetic and delightful to be around. Later versions in cartoons was Olaf, that type of thing, where you've just got this character that's just doesn't take anything too seriously, is just having a great time, even though they're going through all the same experiences as the main character. These guys are just kind of doing okay. I feel like how I read into this is kind of you're developing like a depth of character where you have this longing for the simple life, the life you once had, where nothing was too deep. Everything was just kind of fun and lighthearted. Sorry, I'm bouncing the bed. And now, like, the feelings are so big. And furthermore, if you're having an awakening or an activation, like, your concept of the universe just became so fucking expansive. And now you feel like this cog in a wheel that you didn't even realize, or a cog in a gear of machinery that you didn't even realize was as big as it was. Like, even if you believed in God before your activation, it's not this big. Like, you talk to people who are religious, and they, like, Christianity specifically, because that's what I have the most experience with of people around me. Like, when I talk to them about the idea that, like, God, spirit, source, like, really is inside of you. It's inside of all of us. That, like, we are all truly just as special as Jesus was. Like, I genuinely feel like he was misunderstood. Like, he's like, we are all children of God, and his disciples are like, cool, children of God. And he's like, for example, I'm the son of God. And they're like, he just said he's the son of God, you guys. Like, I feel like he was just giving an example, and people took him literally, and he died for that. But, like, we're all children of God. We're all cosmic dust. We're all source. And that makes you feel both insignificant and expansive at the same time. It's the concept of duality being introduced to your mind if you've never experienced it before. And so it creates complexity in your mind, and it creates depth of feeling in your soul. You've always had this, but there's high likelihood that it's covered up with things like your societal pressures, your gender roles, your sexuality, all of the things of the 3D, money, career, ambition. And then all of a sudden it becomes stripped back. And you just are like, how do I keep functioning when I feel like I've just unlocked the keys of the universe? It's hard. And so then you come back to P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, where you realize that the only way to make it through this is with a sense of humor and releasing control of the things that you cannot control. It's the ultimate Jesus take the wheel. It's pretty intense, but it's also pretty awesome if you're able to hold it in your little container, in your little vessel known as your body. Sorry, I just had to channel for a second there. I was grabbing tarot and then something fell off, and so I grabbed the archetypes instead. As I was shuffling, the Venom came out. And Venom's this concept of like things that are toxic. And that's what I feel is happening right now. It's this difficult phase where you've got one foot in one world and one foot in the other. The life that you've built up till now is still going. It's still asking for your presence. And then the new life, the new timeline, is also asking. I can't speak for everyone, but I know for me, this was about the time that I started negotiating. Negotiating with spirit. It was, because I'm kind of a boss, like people don't tell me what to do. And so I was like, okay, you want to fucking, you're calling me up, you're calling me out. You say, you need me for this job. And I was like, okay, but I got some conditions. And so that's when you start thinking about, what do you want? What do you really want? What's your perfect life? So 2 more cards came out. The first one is the Eternal Child. Let me read this one to you. The Eternal Child is connected to the timeless, ageless, and infinite aspects of life. It is radiant and fearless and seeks joy above all else at any cost. It struggles being bound to an aging body with physical limitations in a world that demands attention to detail and logistics. The Eternal Child wants to nix all rules and responsibilities and go beyond what others say is possible. It wants to return with plenty of friends to the land of the free, where divine wine and creativity pour from the earth and sky. We all want a sip from the well of eternal youth, and this makes the Eternal Child naturally popular, perhaps even famous. The Eternal Child glimmers. It reminds us of what is possible, what is magical about this precious life. The archetype is so spirited that when its appetite for life isn't satiated, it seeks spirits and substances elsewhere. The Eternal Child struggles with addictions of all varieties. I see. It's hard because, it's that same Dory energy. It's the same. Sorry, I keep getting interrupted. But it's that Dory and Olaf personality type where it's like fun loving and having a good time and don't worry too much about tomorrow and everything's going to be all right. But then it becomes this habit, like when you start to grow up and life is more complicated. The stakes become higher. Usually something happens, like you start to feel that biological clock ticking, and all of a sudden people are starting to ask you things like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to settle down? Are you with anybody right now? And it can feel hard, to have pressure, societal pressure, asking you to pair off with somebody. But the hardest part is that secretly you want to. You're trying to ignore that. But inside of you, you long to be part of another person in a way that you aren't with anyone else. The thing you have to remember, though, about love is there's a difference between codependent or attachment love and agape love. And guess what came out next? Let me pause and then I'm going to read that one to you. Agape is alive when we are in awe and wonder, when our breath is taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. That's that duality. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The Agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously, like the venom. What are you elevating? Where does your sacred ladder climb ultimately lead you? Agape can also be felt as an overwhelming love of family, partner, community. Recognize if you feel a deep swell of gratitude. Let's see, one more thing. The Greek word agape informs the English word agape. To have the mouth agape is to be awestruck by something breathtaking. We are made humble once again. This is that duality that we were talking about. And also from the previous videos, it's the concept of things that truly fill your soul and things that only temporarily do. Remember how I started this message feeling like there was a high and then a low. You had a great day doing the things that normally fill your cup, or at least you thought they did. Seeing certain friends, doing certain hobbies, maybe even doing something a little extra risky, like, maybe you flew an airplane, jumped out of an airplane, or got a tattoo or something like that. There's lots of things that could give you this high, this sense of, I can do whatever I want, I'm not settling down. But then there's this feeling of expansiveness, of being more than you ever thought possible. And you realize that this is what was missing. With all the fun and excitement that you had today that brought out this eternal child in you, you're not a child anymore, sweetie. Your soul craves a deeper kind of love. That's why this isn't filling you up anymore. Your soul wants for more. It's craving more. My favorite kind of joy is called collective effervescence. It's when you spontaneously share a collective joy with a bunch of other people. Sometimes it happens at concerts. Sometimes it can just happen when you're walking down the street. But it's my favorite kind of joy. What's your favorite kind of joy? What's the kind of moment that leaves you feeling awestruck and swelling with gratitude? The kind of gratitude that you feel for having witnessed what was happening. You don't even have to participate in it. You just can watch and feel thankful that you were there, that you had air enough in your lungs to be witness to the magic of the universe. That's the sense of agape. True divine love. You find that feeling and you follow it into yourself. And once you find it in you, you're able to find it in other people too. And if it's hard to find in you, maybe that's why you met this one person. Maybe they were able to demonstrate what that looks like, what that feels like. Maybe they were able to make you feel what true love actually feels like. And ever since that moment, you've been searching for it again, but you can't seem to find it. Look at these teeth. It makes me think of somebody hungry, somebody looking for something that they can't find. You know, like I think that's the moon in there. I'm not sure. But somebody's searching for something that they can't find, and it's making them angry. It's making them irritated. It's making them want to lash out. And the person that gave you a taste of this real love, you're angry at them. You're like, you didn't really love me. You left me. You were hot and cold. You gave me mixed signals. You don't understand me. Is that true? Or did they give you this and you gave them this? And it wasn't compatible. If you gave them this, I don't care what happens tomorrow kind of feeling, and somebody's coming in with awe and wonder and true depth of feeling, it's going to cause conflict. And things like this probably included other people. Remember yesterday we had that third party energy. So not only were you not showing emotional maturity with this level of love, with this level of depth of feeling, but there were people in your life that were also trying to harm because you got between them. That person inserted themselves in between you and them. And they weren't happy about that. They probably filled your head up with all sorts of things. They probably told you that this person is doing magic on you. Magic spells, something like that. Ooh, I can feel it. I wonder what else this person said. They were saying all sorts of stuff about how this person just playing with you. They were trying to make you feel like this love wasn't real, that what you were experiencing wasn't real. But you could tell the difference. I mean, look at this. You could tell the difference between this love and this love. Like, look at that. What do you think is more in aligned with you? These karmic relationships, these addictions, gambling, money, drugs, sex, whatever it is, whatever these addictions are. But I feel like some karmic relationships in there. I feel like a jaded friend, an ex-lover, an ex-best friend, a brother, a mother, a father, all sorts of things against this person, this one person. And they attack them, coming after them. I want you to think about that for a second. I want you to think about that from this person's perspective. But here's you trying to be happy-go-lucky, being like, oh, we're just having a good time. And over here, all of these things sending evil eye, negative feelings. Who knows? Maybe they even hired people to put like hexes and spells on them because they thought they were doing it to you. If this is divine love, they don't have access to magic. Not like witches and that kind of thing. Like, it's different. It's different. They don't need to wield energy that way. They're a direct channel. It just pours out of their cells. Some of them can do both. I can't, but some of them can. But if this person is newly activated too, then probably not. Who knows? But nonetheless, they want it to be back over here. They want it back this way. Just knock this agape straight out of there. This poor person. No wonder they're not talking to you right now. You chose this. You chose your childish behaviors. Oh. And that's what, when you went back into your room tonight, those are those thoughts that circled around. The high, then the low. Because even though you try and convince yourself that this person was mean to you, you know they're just a flawed human, just like you are. They were alone when you were running. And now you're alone. That's karma. This is how you learn empathy in moments like these, when you think about how the other person must have felt if they were in the same position. Nobody understood what they were going through. And maybe they thought that you did, but you didn't. And they didn't understand that. And another thing too is if this person's cut you off, the energy that you feel is just being reflected back at you. See how these kind of reflect? Like this. It's like those are the tethers between you and this person. But if they block you, then those tethers just bounce back at you. So, like, when one person is shut off from the other person, their feelings become more intensified because it's not just what you're sending out, trying to tether yourself to this person, trying to build that connection. You're also getting it bounce back, so you're feeling it twice as intense. You think that they're trying to put spells on you because you feel this way. You just feel this way because you feel this way. And it intensifies the more the other person runs away, because it just bounces right back at you. And so you think that they're toying with you, but it's actually you toying with yourself. You think that they're obsessing over you? It's actually your obsession bouncing back at yourself. Because whether you like it or not, you love this person. You love this person with awe and wonder, with true depth of feeling. And you're seeing your own depth of feeling reflected back to you. And it feels overwhelming to be confronted by something that powerful, by something that big that you didn't actually think that it existed. You were told about it,